And I mean, poked it. First, she asked if my parents were happy for me, and they claimed they were, but didn't show in their attitudes. So my grandparents finally asked what their problem was. Why do they dislike me? Their second kid was doing great and even went above expectations. And they can't be happy about it? Did they want me to fail? Were they hoping I'd fail? What is the deal? My mother looked upset, and my father couldn't look me in the eyes. They both meekly said they were happy for me. I managed to say they want me to take the world by storm when I go to college. They even said they'd help pay some of my tuition just like they are for my sister. My grandparents said they better keep their word because there should never have been any favoritism. I thank my parents for their help. I got a light, if not limp, a handshake from my father and a very stiff hug from my mother. It all felt so forced. I was and still am extremely thankful for the car and the tuition, but my parents just drained the room of all emotion. I ended up asking if my grandparents knew what it was that made my parents act this way. I wondered if I was an accidental pregnancy or something, and they gave me the "it's time we told you" look. Well, I'm not adopted like so many asked, but I was unplanned, sort of. You see, my parents wanted both girls, but I got one boy and one girl instead. My sister came out as a girl, so my parents were hoping to get a girl on the next go. And they had a prior agreement to stop after 2 kids. They never got a girl. My grandma told me they refused to find out my gender till after I was born. They were convinced I'd be born female, and they bought a lot of baby stuff for a girl, and they didn't get a girl. My grandma said I used all of my sister's hand-me-downs until I was 3 years old because my parents had bought so much girl stuff in advance that they couldn't use. So I was just a disappointment to them from the time I was born. My grandparents said that they knew my parents were screwed up, but they've been the way they are for so long now that there's no point in expecting them to change. Since then, my parents have not spoken to me much about college. They ignore the subject as much as they can. And thanks to some of the warnings I got from people who messaged me, making me paranoid, I called the college I've been accepted to and made sure to tell them that if anyone calls or emails pretending to be me or my parents trying to say I'm not coming, then to call me for a double or even triple check if anything like that happens. I mean, I kind of doubt my parents would do that sort of thing, especially after everything that's happened. But I felt like playing it safe was the better option. However, there was something that I didn't expect to happen, and that was my sister calling me. She called me out of the blue to talk. She said our grandparents called and told her everything. She told me she was sorry for what happened in her way. And she hopes that once I'm on my own, I won't ever need to return. She admitted to me that when she finishes college, she will stay in the state she's in because she likes it there. I know our parents want her to return when she gets her degree, but it looks like that's not happening. I said I don't blame her and may do the same. The rest of the conversation was awkward because we weren't used to speaking to each other much anymore. My grandparents and the rest of the family held a surprise party for me over the weekend, and they made it almost like a repeat of my sister's 18th birthday. There was a DJ and a big chocolate cake my grandma had made. I couldn't thank them all enough. My parents attended the party, but they were like wallflowers the entire time. They didn't say or do much. I just sat at a far table in the corner and drank beer quietly. The look of defeat they had was even greater now. The party wasn't just to congratulate me, but also to rub in my parents' faces that they should have done better. Because the rest of the family had made their disappointment in them clear, they seemed like they wanted to leave the party for a while. I can't say I blame them. They were being humiliated into staying where they were. My grandma said that you're always young enough to be taught a lesson in humility.